Google's second-generation Foldable feels less like a science project and more like a phone that happens to open into a small tablet. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold keeps that familiar Pixel camera identity, but the whole shape looks cleaner and more deliberate than before. Closed, it is the side you will use most often, checking messages, taking photos, tapping through maps, and doing all the normal phone stuff without unfolding anything. The big question with any foldable is whether the extra screen earns its pocket space. With this one, Google is clearly trying to make the answer feel obvious, not experimental. Once you open it up, the real pitch starts to make sense. A game like Genshin Impact turns the inner display into a little handheld console, with menus, controls, and world details spread out in a way a normal phone cannot quite match. The settings screen also tells the story. Foldables are not just about watching videos bigger, they're about giving demanding apps more room to breathe. You still have to care about heat, battery, and comfort because no phone becomes a gaming laptop by unfolding. But as a portable play screen, this format is immediately appealing. Foldables are impressive until they hit a repair bench, and then the engineering gets very real. Under the glass and polished metal, there are layered cables, adhesive, plates, batteries, and tiny connectors all competing for space. That is the hidden cost of making a phone bend in half while still behaving like a premium device. A repair process like this reminds you that the hinge and inner display are not casual parts. They're the heart of the product. For buyers, durability matters, but so does knowing that serviceability is part of the long-term ownership story. The everyday interface is where the Pixel 9 Pro Fold has to prove it is not just a cool object. When someone holds it open and moves through widgets, apps, and notifications, you can see the appeal of having a mini dashboard in one hand. Weather, calendar, messages, and media controls can all sit together without feeling crushed. It is the kind of layout that makes quick multitasking feel less like juggling and more like glancing across a desk. The catch is that app support still matters, because a big screen is only useful when software respects it. Inside, the phone is a careful stack of compromises. The batteries have to be split, the cameras need depth, the hinge needs strength, and the display cables have to survive repeated movement. Seeing the two halves open on a table makes the device feel less magical, but more impressive. Every millimeter is doing a job. It also explains why foldables tend to cost more and why repairs can be intimidating. You're not just buying a larger screen. You're buying a mechanical system that has to disappear during normal use and then perform reliably for years. On the software side, the big inner display is perfect for the kind of messy, real-life phone use most people actually do. You open the app drawer, keep a video or feed visible, jump into another app, and everything has enough space to avoid feeling cramped. That is where a foldable quietly beats a slab phone. Not with one flashy feature, but with fewer little compromises. The crease may still be there, and the device is still wider than a normal phone. But the payoff is that your phone stops feeling like a single narrow lane. The connected device angle is also worth paying attention to. A Pixel phone acting as the control center for wearables, rings, watches, and health accessories makes the foldable feel less isolated. You get more room for status cards, battery information, sharing settings, and health summaries, which is genuinely useful when an app has a lot to explain. On a smaller phone, these pages can feel like scrolling through filing cabinets. On the Fold, they feel more like a control panel. That makes the big screen useful even when you're not gaming or watching anything. Camera use on a foldable can feel a little unusual at first, but it opens up some fun options. Holding the phone partly open gives you a larger viewfinder, and the shape can help when you're framing awkward angles or shooting close to a surface. The Pixel reputation has always leaned heavily on computational photography, but the hardware form matters too. A foldable can become its own stand, its own preview monitor, and sometimes a more stable grip. It will not replace a dedicated camera, but it can make casual shooting feel surprisingly flexible. A good tech review usually comes back to the same practical question. Who is this for? The Pixel 9 Pro Fold is not trying to be the smallest phone, the cheapest phone, or the simplest phone. It is for someone who actually benefits from having more screen during the day, whether that means reading, editing, messaging, navigating, or managing work apps side by side. If you mostly open one app, tap once, and put your phone away, the magic may be limited. But if your phone is already your portable computer, the Fold starts making a lot more sense. Gaming is still one of the clearest demos for a foldable because the benefit is immediate. The controls sit farther apart, the action has more space, and the phone feels more like a dedicated handheld. You can see more of the environment while your thumbs stay out of the way, which makes a difference in busy combat. Of course, long sessions still raise the usual phone questions: grip comfort, warmth, battery drain, and whether the game scales cleanly. But when the software behaves, the inner screen gives mobile games a more relaxed, immersive feel. Repair testing also highlights something easy to overlook. After all the premium design talk, a foldable still has to turn on, charge, and survive normal handling. Plugging it in on the bench is a simple moment, but it is the kind of moment that matters. Displays need to weight correctly, connectors need to seat properly, and the device has to behave like a phone again after being opened up. For owners, the takeaway is not to fear the technology, but to respect it. Cases, careful handling, and reliable repair options matter more with this category. The repeated prying and adhesive work around the display edges shows why foldable repairs require patience. Modern phones are sealed tightly for structure and protection, and a folding phone adds more delicate routing beneath the surface. One wrong move can turn a small repair into a bigger one. That is not unique to Google, but the Pixel 9 Pro Fold makes the trade-off visible. Thinner bodies, tighter tolerances, and cleaner design often mean more careful service work later. It is a reminder that premium hardware is not only about how it feels new, but how it can be maintained. Little hardware details can say a lot about the maturity of foldable. The hinge gap, the frame alignment, the speaker cutouts, and the way the display sits near the edge all contribute to whether the device feels polished or fragile. A close look at the side makes the engineering feel less abstract. This is where the phone has to balance elegance with practicality. It needs to fold smoothly, lie comfortably in the hand, and still deliver loud enough audio for games, calls, and video. Small edges become big ownership details over time. Even the repair manual has a clean pixel vibe. Big name, simple layout, and that unmistakable camera bar peeking in. For a foldable, service guidance matters, because elegance is nicer when it's also fixable.